Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Honorable mention sports, Drew Bedard for your NFL weekend breakdown for Week 10. Obviously, it's Monday. We've got Monday Night Football tonight. First and foremost, happy Veterans Day to all of our men and women, our veterans who served and who protected this country and hopefully are enjoying the rest of their lives. But we appreciate our veterans out there, and we hope you're having a wonderful day. And we love you and we appreciate you. So let's get into it. Let's talk about some NFL. Let's go back to last Thursday for a fantastic game in Baltimore, where Baltimore wore the purple rising helmets. That was their fancy full all purple and gold uniforms. Crazy game. First half wasn't that exciting, but the second half was amazing. And the Ravens took the win 35-34. Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson had just incredible stats for the night. But Joe Burrow goes 34-56 for 428 and 4 TDs. Derrick Henry has another anytime TD. That's one you can bank on just about every week. But the star of the night is Jamar Chase. 11 receptions, 264 in the air, and 3 TDs. Unbelievable. But late in the game, the Bengals come back. The Ravens come back first, and then the Bengals come down the field, score the touchdown, and decide to go for 2, and are not able to complete it because of about 15 penalties on the play. Face mask on Joe Burrow, face mask on one of the offensive linemen, the defensive lineman holding a face mask, and probably some pass interference on the play. But the Ravens win 35-34, and the Bengals go to 4-6. Going to be a struggle all the way through, but they are good enough to make the playoffs, and they're good enough to challenge in the playoffs. But the Ravens are 7-3 and looking great heading into the playoffs. Again, all the statistical models put the Ravens probably right there at the top of the NFL. All right, let's move on to Sunday. Well, let's head over to Munich, Germany for the early game. They basically threw out the trash with this one and put the Panthers and Giants in Munich, but it actually was a pretty entertaining game. But the Giants just couldn't get it done again, and they lose to the Panthers. The Panthers have a little bit of momentum with 2 straight now, but Daniel Jones just has a terrible game again. 22 for 37, 190, and 2 interceptions. Chuba Hubbard for the Panthers has a great game, 28 for 153 and 1 TD. The Panthers get a field goal late to win it and win it in OT. So it was an amazing game, but probably not one that a lot of people watched, but the Panthers take the win. Let's move on from that one. All right, let's go over to the Sunday games for the 1:00 slate. We had the Panthers and Bears in Chicago. Excuse me, the Patriots and Bears, my New England Patriots and Bears in Chicago. And oh man, I don't know what the Bears are going to do. They only score 3 points in this entire game. Drake May has another decent showing at the helm of the Patriots, and the Patriots take the win 19-3. Drake May goes 15 for 25, 184 yards and a TD. Ramondre Stevenson goes 20 for 74. And pretty boring game, I would say. But the Patriots are now 3-7. They've won 2 straight. Got a little momentum going in the right direction, and they won 19-3 over the Bears. I would say Matt Eberflus from Chicago is not looking good. He's probably got the hottest seat in the NFL from a coaching perspective. There's a lot of hot seats out there, but he's got one of them with the Bears because they should have won last week, and then now they get demolished by the not very good Patriots. So we'll see what's going to happen with the Bears here in the next few weeks. All right, let's move on to the Bills-Colts. Pretty good game in Indianapolis, but the Bills continue to be a strong team. Josh Allen goes 22 for 37 for 280 and 2 interceptions. Jonathan Taylor goes 21 for 114 for the Colts. But really the story of the game is Joe Flacco early in the game throws 2 quick interceptions. One turns into a pick 6. And that kind of puts Buffalo in the driver's seat for the rest of the game, and they really kind of control the rest of the game. And the Bills moved to 8-2, the Colts to 4-6. I don't know what the Colts are going to do with their quarterback situation with Joe Flacco and with Anthony Richardson. Are they going to go back to Anthony Richardson? I would see that as likely at this point after Joe Flacco's lackluster performance the other day. But the Bills are just strong. They're going to walk away with the AFC East, and they're going to go into the playoffs. The question is, can they beat the Ravens or the Chiefs in the playoffs? Good segue right there. Let's head over to Kansas City, where for some sort of magical, weird science way, the Chiefs pull out another game against a very competitive Broncos team. Patrick Mahomes has a decent game, 28 for 42, 266 and 1 TD. And Bo Nix has a decent game. But here's the play of the game is the Broncos are kicking for the win to win 17-16, late field goal for the win, and the Chiefs block it, and the Chiefs come away with the win. They are now 9-0, and they're 5-0 in the division. Or excuse me, I think it's 5-0 at home. But they're 9-0 regardless, and the Chiefs continue to find ways to win, which is usually the look of a great team, is that they can win. But they are going to be questionable in the playoffs. Everyone's going to be nervous about whether the Chiefs can win a game. And I would say that the Ravens and Bills look a little bit stronger at this point to take the AFC flag. All right, let's move over to New Orleans for the Falcons and Saints. One I had as an easy Falcons win, with the Saints kind of going backwards, but they fire their coach, Dennis Allen, on Monday, and or was it Tuesday, whatever the case, but they have a great win at home. Should have been more. Alvin Kamara, who I absolutely love and have great affection for as a Vol, has a wide open pass from Derek Carr, and it goes off his fingertips. It would have been another touchdown, so they probably would have won 27-17. The Falcons just couldn't get it going on offense. Got to give it to the Saints. The Saints played great defense all day. So the Saints take the win. They're now 3-7. Falcons, gosh, 2 bad weeks in a row. They've really got to turn the corner. Kirk Cousins has a decent game, but again, can't get the ball into the end zone into the hands of his very capable receivers like Drake London and Darnell Mooney. And Kirk Cousins goes 23 for 38, 306 and an interception. Bijan Robinson has a great game for the Falcons, though. The promise was on the ground, where he went 20 for 116 and 2 TDs. Great game for Bijan Robinson. All right, let's move down to Tampa Bay. This was a great game across the board. Bucks and 49ers. Again, the Bucks have a ton of injuries with Mike Evans and Godwin out on the offensive side. Baker Mayfield really carried them throughout the game, but the 49ers come away with the win. A great game for Juwan Jennings, my guy. 7 receptions for 93 yards. Brock Purdy has a great game, 25 for 36, 353, and 2 touchdowns. Bucky Irving, the star on the side with the Bucks, other than Baker Mayfield, with 13 for 73, so 13 carries for 73 yards and 1 TD. So let's I'm going to just pop over and see if there's anybody in the chat. If you have any questions, just pop in and let me know, and we'll talk about anything you want to talk about. I'll come check the chat in just a minute. But the 49ers away, going across the country to Tampa Bay, getting the win at the Bucks. 49ers are 5-4, probably on the way up. The Bucks, they've got to get some people back on offense, and they could be there for the playoffs. But the Falcons, currently in that first place seat in the NFC South, and the Bucks need some help. They need to get their players back, and they need a couple of wins. All right, let's move over to maybe the game of the day, which was the Steelers and Commanders. I mean, back and forth, counterpunch for counterpunch. But the Steelers, George Pickens has an unbelievable catch. He's also crazy. He did some crazy stuff in that game, but the Steelers come away with it. This is this could be in some universes a preview to a Super Bowl matchup, with the Steelers taking it 28-27. Steelers are now 7-2. Amazing. The Commanders are 7-3. So they were 7-2 coming in. Jaden Daniels has another decent game, 17 for 34, 202 through the air. Scary Terry McLaurin for Washington has 5 for 113 through the air. But a controversial spotting call for the Commanders gives the Steelers the ball back on a fourth down, and the Steelers take the win. That was really the controversial call of the day, but just a great game, back and forth all day long. And one highlight that you definitely want to see is the Russell Wilson over the top where he's throwing. He's got a rush coming off the edge. He's on his back foot. He's about to get hit, chucks it up into the air, and it lands in his receiver's hands. Watch that clip when you get a second. Okay, let's head down to the paper bag game of the day down in Jacksonville. For some reason, the Vikings come away with this field goal game of 12-7. So the Jaguars, in their beautiful uniform combination, come out of the gate. What's his name? I'm blanking on it at the moment. I'll come back to that in just a second. So the Jaguars come into the game. They come right out in the first quarter and score. Mac Jones in his hometown, right? He's back in Florida. He's back in Jacksonville. He's there at the helm. They come right down the field and score. And it's like, okay, this is going to be a good day for the Jaguars in those awesome white helmets. But the Vikings chip away throughout the day. They cannot score a touchdown, but they get, 4 kicks from their field goal kicker. They win 12-7. Really, the story of the day is, again, this Jaguars from hope to horror, with Mac Jones throwing a touchdown in the first quarter and then him throwing 4 interceptions. Sam Darnold also threw 3 interceptions. This is going to be a story of the day because Sunday Night Football was a story of interceptions as well. But amazing. Aaron Jones had 17 for 88, also left the game at one point for Minnesota. But the story of the day is interceptions and field goals. Always a great game. All right, let's move over to LA, where, I had this one. This was a taking care of business day for the Chargers. They moved to 6-3 over the Titans. Will Levis steps back in for the Tennessee Titans, but they can't do squat. And he goes 18 for 23 for 175 and 2 TDs. Calvin Ridley has another good game, so it doesn't matter if it's Mason Rudolph or Will Levis. Calvin Ridley goes 5 for 84 for 2 TDs, but the Chargers take care of business. Another good day for Justin Herbert, and Chargers win 27-17. Not much to say about that one. That's probably something everybody predicted. Well, this next game, you probably predicted it, but it was uglier than you would have thought. Let's head on down to Dallas and the sad, sad condition of the Cowboys. Dak Prescott, during the week, was announced that he's probably going to sit out the rest of the season with an injury. And so basically that puts it in the hands of their backup quarterbacks in Dallas. And then Eagles are on a hot streak. They're coming in and they dominate the game 34-6. Jalen Hurts goes 14 for 20 for 202, 2 TDs. Saquon Barkley with another great game, 14 for 66. Not a great game, probably for most fantasy managers. They want that anytime TD. A.J. Brown comes back from injury and goes 5 for 109, which a lot of people predicted, which was good on them to predict that. I predicted he would have gone under his receiving totals, but there's nothing really more to say here. Jalen throws for 2 in the air. He runs for 2. He's the MVP of the day. The Eagles are good. The Cowboys are bad. And the Cowboys are going nowhere quick. They've got to rebuild in the offseason and see if they can get it done. Another team with high expectations going into this season, and a red-hot Cardinals take the win in Phoenix over the Jets. The Jets can't do anything. They only get 2 field goals on the day, so they just could not move the ball. And Kyler Murray was fantastic. 22 for 24 for 266 and has 3 TDs on the day, 1 through the air, 2 on the ground. So he has more TDs than he had incompletions on the day. Fantastic job. James Conner goes 5 for 80 on the ground, and the Cardinals absolutely, they go first quarter 14, second quarter 10, third quarter 7, and then they run out the clock on the Jets, who could not score in the second half, not even a field goal. Pretty sad there for the Jets fans. Feel bad for them because there's so much promise. The Jets are now 3-7, and they need a miracle to make it to the playoffs. All right, let's go to Sunday Night Football, another incredible game. So the story of this game is the Texans look unbeatable in the first half. It's 23-7. The amazing Lions look beatable, right? Everybody's probably going into halftime going, wow, Houston's really good, and Detroit, are they questionable? And then the second half is a completely different story. This Texans score no points in the second half. The Lions come up. Their kicker comes up huge, Bates. The offense, but Jared Goff, amazingly, I think he threw 5 interceptions last night. It was a wild game. Some would call it ugly. I actually thought it was terribly entertaining. Goff goes 15 for 30 for 240 and 2 TDs. Jahmyr Gibbs has a great game, 19 for 71 on the ground. David Montgomery also had a touchdown. So for all those anytime TD guys, they love it. You love a Derrick Henry and a James Cook and a David Montgomery anytime TD. But the Lions, at the last second, they get the ball back. They drive down deep enough to get Bates in field goal position, and he gets it by this much. Go look at the replay. It basically flicks the little flag, the wind flag on the top of the uprights, and the Lions take the win. That's again, just like the Chiefs, it's a sign of a great team is when you can win and win ugly. And they won 26 to 23. We had a bunch of bye week teams. The Browns, the Packers, the Raiders, and Seahawks sat out this week. Tonight, we've got Monday Night Football, and they've been hyping it up on ESPN. It's been all about Hollywood. It's the Dolphins at the Rams. Can the Dolphins make progress towards getting better with Tua back in the lineup? Can the Rams continue their upward swing towards the playoffs? Can they prove that they are a contender? That's going to be the question tonight. The spread tonight is Rams by 2.5. I like that spread for the Rams. I think the Rams should win by 7, maybe even 14, but you never know what the Dolphins are going to bring. So total tonight is 48.5. I would expect a couple of TD passes from Matt Stafford. I would expect an anytime TD from Kyren Williams. So I think that's your 3 TDs right there for the Rams. And can the Dolphins score points? Some weeks they can score points with Tua, and some weeks they can't. So we'll see. It should be a competitive game, but I like the Rams by maybe 7 to 10 points tonight on Monday Night Football. Well, all right. That's your NFL Week 10 breakdown from Honorable Mention Sports. I'm Drew Bedard. Happy Veterans Day to all the veterans out there, and hope you enjoyed the show. Please share and subscribe and follow on all the different channels, and we will see you next time. Have a